Hey, it's Chad with the Duramax store here. We're here at the Duramax Service Center today, dropping off my truck to get some routine maintenance done before I head out on the open road on some road trips later this summer. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about maintenance, the importance of it, what the guys do here in regards to what fluids they use, how they do it, and also talk a little bit about the vehicle inspections, what they do on a vehicle inspection, how to properly check out your front end and steering suspension, and do a good brake inspection. So stay tuned. All right, they got the truck up in the rack. Chris is in here doing a vehicle inspection, getting ready to do the oil change drain on it. Dan's going to talk a little about some services and what we use for fluids when you guys are doing the stuff. So Dan, talk a little bit about the oil that you're going to be using on the truck today.
Yeah, for oil 2011 and up, we're going to be using the Mobile Delvac 1300 Super. It's a semi-synthetic or synthetic blend oil that we use. It pretty much meets and exceeds all of your oil manufacturer specs 2011 and up. We actually started using this in some of the older trucks too. Some people between 2006 and 2010 have a complaint of a ticking noise or a typewriter tick that they get, and we found that this will actually kind of quiet that down a little bit. Older trucks, we're still running Dello in those, 1540.
That's a Chevron oil?
Yep, Chevron oil, Chevron Dello. We're still running that in 01 to 05. For the most part, you could run this in those too. Some people actually kind of opt to go with the synthetic or the synthetic blend. On this truck, as for oil filter, this has a max flow upgraded oil cooler. So we're actually using an AC Delco 2020 filter on that. And then if you have an older, just stock oil cooler, we're running Donaldson filters on that.
So the typewriter noise you talked about, that came out on the 2006 to 2010 LBZ LMM motors?
Yeah.
And that's noticed more so at idle?
Yeah, just a slight tick that they come. It's just basically oil displacing in the bearings.
So you guys that own those LBZ LMMs, if you're hearing that, this Mobile Delvac can help out with that noise. Some trucks it eliminates it completely, other trucks it will definitely reduce it. So something to look at if you do have that noise. How about the fuel system? So I got a primary fuel filter, and we did the AirDog lift pump on this truck a while back when we did our CP3 conversions. So what are we doing for filters? This
truck is running a primary filter. So the primary filter is just the AC Delco filter on this. And then for the AirDog, the lift pump, we just stick with the AirDog filters on that. AirDog filter and water separator. And we're doing those at 15,000 miles today? Yep.
All right. Transmission. So we're going to do a transmission drain and refill on this thing with the external filter. I don't do a whole lot of towing in this truck lately, so I think interval on this thing is just a little over 30,000 miles. So fluid-wise,
we're running the Castrol Transcend 668 on this fluid. Basically meets all manufacturer specifications on all the newer stuff. 2011 and up, pretty much it meets all specifications for that, but it also, you can use it in the older stuff as well. You can go backwards with that. This truck's going to have a deep sump pan, so it's going to take probably about 2.5, 3 gallons worth. If you have a stock pan, you're going to be taking about 1.5 gallons just on a drain and refill. For the filter on that, we're still running the Allison actual factory spin-on filter for that.
So on these spin-on filters, there's a magnet on the inside, so when you pull this filter off and you see that magnet, don't be too concerned if you see a little bit of debris on it.
No, anything small. It's not going to be big chunks, but there might be some, it almost looks like a grease inside there probably.
And that magnet's going to go right on the inside here, so a lot of people think that it's going to restrict the flow through these holes, which it does not, so make sure you get that transferred over. That's something that we have a lot of customers call in and they have missed it, and I know that you guys have told us in the past that you see that a lot on the trucks that come through. Talking a little bit about filters, also keep an eye on dmaxstore.com. So we're working with the filter manufacturer to get out some new transmission filters and engine oil filters. So we'll have a little bit larger filter and then the stock stuff. So keep an eye on that. Hopefully we'll have that out in the next couple months. So we got transmission, fuel, engine oil, and then coolant. So we're going to do a drain and refill on this thing on that too. So it's about time for the cooling system to be serviced. What do you got here? This is just the AC Delco 50/50 Dex Cool Mix. We run pretty much about 5 to 6 gallons of this thing on a drain and refill. We use the Dex Cool. It's GM specific. Basically, they call for you to use the Dex Cool in there because it lasts longer. It goes about 100,000 miles. So yeah. Orange coolant?
Yep, orange coolant. Don't run the green. This will last longer than the green. You don't really want to go mix them together or anything. So.
And at one point I heard that this has better lubricating particles for the water pump and stuff too. So if you got a truck that's got the pinkish orange coolant, I want to make sure you stick with that. Don't go back to that green ethylene glycol because it's not going to help out your cooling system. So beyond that, so we got some service we're going to get done today. Chris is doing that, vehicle inspection, tire rotation. So to me, tires aren't cheap. Tires are going to help with a lot of things, obviously with ride quality, and also fuel economy is going to help out with it too, making sure these tires last as long as possible. So when you guys do a tire rotation, what's your process with it?
Normally take a good look at the tires to begin with. We look for cupping on the edges, basically the lug of the tire right here. We look at the front to see if it's raised up. especially with the front tires, they tend to cup a lot more. So we'll actually cross the front tires to the rear to level that cupping back out. And we'll take the rears, kind of to give them a look and see how they look. If they look nice and flat, we'll just move them straight forward. If they look like they're cupped in the front a little bit, we'll cross those to the front too.
And then tire pressure. So obviously these are an aftermarket tire with it. You've got a door placard that you can go off of, but you also got tire pressure here, and then it kind of goes with ride quality and tire wear. So what's your recommendation there?
Almost every one of these trucks is going to have a different tire pressure from the front to the rear. So whenever you rotate it, you want to look at the door placard. It should be right inside the driver's side door. And that's going to tell you what your front tire pressure is supposed to be and your rear tire pressure is supposed to be. So when you rotate them, you're going to need to reset them. So where you're not running a higher pressure in the front than the rear. Normally the rears are going to call for a higher pressure because they're expecting you to be loaded. So for example, a lot of trucks run 65 PSI front, 80 rear. We always try to get it within that range. If it seems like it's a little rough, we'll try to drop the rear down a little bit.
Okay, so kind of help out with fuel, making sure these tires are inflated properly, not underinflated and can cause tire wear, and then also making sure that you have the good pressure with it all the way around. So if you are towing, you want to make sure you got the good air pressure in there. So cool. Well, as you guys know, we talked a little bit earlier about doing some other inspections. So they're going to do a vehicle inspection, front end, steering, suspension. We're going to have some other videos that talk a little bit more about the proper ways to check out that front end and how they do it here, what's the best way to do it, best way to check out the brakes, and then a little bit more in regards to tire rotation and pressures, because we'll be having to reset that tire monitor system.